And it looks like we're live.
Yes.
Yes, we are. We're live tonight again. Welcome, folks.
Good evening, everyone. And good evening, Craig.
Good evening. We've been expecting you. Yes. Well, we're going to talk tonight about ghosts at Christmas, spirits at Christmas, spirit connections. Anything you've had interesting later on, please tell us. Any feelings you've had about loved ones, for example, drawing near at Christmas. And we're going to talk a little bit about ghosts at Christmas. And if you've had anything spooky happen at Christmas, those sort of things. So we're going to talk about that later. We're going to say hello to everybody, of course, first as you come online. Bets on Agility Bits. So welcome to the channel, folks. Thanks to all of you who've been patrons here too and been helping out and keeping the channel alive and busy and, you know, helping us to move things forward. So do the dead return at Christmas? That's the actual title for tonight. And so we want your ghost stories. And I'll talk a few things about Christmas and its early pagan beliefs about this time of year and its connection with the idea of hauntings and things.
Hello, Gail.
Hi, Gail.
How are you?
Looking forward to the video. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got from South Korea, I should think, from that lettering.
Agility Bits. Hello from
I win.
Cornwall.
I win. Hi, Agility Bits. We can always guarantee that you're going to come along. There you are, one of the most loyal dogs we've got out there. Patricia Schultz as well. Hello from Frosty, Germany.
Yes,
we see you quite regularly too,
it?
don't we, Patricia? You and we. Hi there. Sorry to be a bit funny about the Korean writing, but obviously we like to pull people's legs. Julie Guest. Good evening, my lovelies. So nice to be here again.
Nice for you to come.
Good
Julie.
evening,
Welcome.
my lovelies. Yes, that's a nice spooky sound. Lorraine Biggs. Hi, Lorraine from Wareham in Dorset. Lumini Magi. I'm sure that's not your real name, is it? Lumini Magi. Hello, everyone, and blessings. Hi there. Nice to see you.
Patty Ann. Hello from San Francisco. Hi, Patty.
Right across the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
We get them from Australia too. So we covered the whole lot except the Pacific. Anyone from Hawaii? Georgi Panoyotov. That's one you should read out, Jane. Good evening.
You've already done it.
Good evening.
Leah. Hello, Craig and Jane from Greece. Hi, Leah.
So don't forget, when you have some thoughts and ideas about what you'd like to talk to us and questions you might
from
have.
Pennsylvania.
Hi there, Evie. Nice to see you. So we'll be talking, as you're joining us, we'll be talking about ghosts and things at Christmas and anything like that. And actually, if that lady from South Korea, or if it is South Korea or North Korea, wherever you are, I'd love to know some of the things and thoughts about this time of year in the East, because I know you do have a lot of superstitions about this time of year and the turning of the year into the new year. Tiger Lily, hello to you both from Wales.
Yeah, you're in lockdown, aren't they? In Wales?
We're all in lockdown, really.
Yeah, but they've
got
more
super lockdown, yeah. Oh, forgot to mention, I'm in Louisiana, USA. Oh, right across the States. I think 64% or more of our followers have come from the States, actually.
Christine, welcome, Christine.
What's Christine's surname?
Quell.
Yeah. Angela Locke, hello from Derbyshire. Hi there. Obviously, if you're just joining us, we're going to be talking about ghosts tonight and spirits at Christmas, and do the dead communicators with us at this time of year. Andrea Batista, hello from Pennsylvania, USA. Pennsylvania, USA. Hello from Maine, USA.
Terry, see who the person is?
Hi, Terry. Yes, hi, Terry. You can read a few out, Jane.
Kate, hello from Oregon. Hello, Kate. Jamie, baby, Cadu. Hi, Craig and Jane from London. That's nice.
And you're joining us, of course, both from Facebook and from YouTube. So you can always connect to us on either channel. So if you're not on our Facebook channel, go and look us up on Facebook for our page.
Hi, Paula. Lovely to hear from you.
Hiya, Paula.
Jan
from Buckinghamshire.
Yeah, it's nice.
Greetings from Switzerland. Yes, we've got quite a few friends in Switzerland now.
I love the name.
I think there's a lot of interest in these type of things in Switzerland. I suppose.
Got some friends in Switzerland.
Yeah, quite a few people. We had some really good patrons from Switzerland too in the past.
Delilah,
actually, really helped us.
Grossman, hello from Oregon, USA.
Finally caught you live.
11 a.m. here.
in Oregon. Yeah, so it's 11 a.m. So it's even earlier than that in California then, isn't it? So some of those that are coming from there. Jane, your hair is lovely.
Aren't I?
These are your personal friends. This is a Facebook friend. This is somebody you know. She must know you personally. She pays you, doesn't she, Jerry?
I don't.
Hello. Oh, I'm wrong one. Jerry's the next one. Hello from Alabama in the USA. Michelle Liberty. Hello.
You said Michael.
Yeah, I have to think. Hello from Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Hi there, folks. Yeah, so if you're joining us, think about some questions. If you've had any experiences at Christmas of strange spiritual things, because we're going to talk about all that tonight. And you can always put your comments later as well, even after we go live, because we always look at all the comments in the thing. And don't forget to follow us while you're at it too. Deepa, what's the surname, Jane?
Deepa Kashawaka. Patel.
Obviously Indian. Sorry, messing you around. Namaste from India. Namaste to you too, of course. Nana, Rosebud, hi from Totton, just down the road from us. Totton.
Hi, Nana.
I was just on the edge of the New Forest. Sally Halfpenny, who is related to us and drops in quite regularly to say hello as well. Nice for you to join us again, Sally. And Alison Welch, good evening from Shaftesbury in Dorset.
It's nice, Shaftesbury.
Lovely place, Shaftesbury. Not a good place to ride a bike uphill. I'm Korean, so I'm not good at female languages.
What is that? What kind of person is that?
Korean. She's from South Korea. She'd be from South. I said it was South Korean writing.
Why? But she's not so good at female languages.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably have different types of like le and la and genders and ich bin and der and das or in German or whatever it is. Hello from Denmark, Fleming Rosenwald. And Abby Wallace, Mourning from Australia. So we got people from Australia and California. We've basically covered pretty much all of the world here today. That's nice of you to be, nice to be so popular, isn't it? Roxana, hello from California, USA. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
You've all just had Thanksgiving. You know, we don't have Thanksgiving here in the UK, of course. Hello from North Carolina. Such a lovely couple. Indeed, we are. We are. So you're welcome to praise us as much as you like. Debbie Kitchley, it's 11 a.m. in Cali too, in California. So it's the opposite sides of the world we've got.
We've been there.
It's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah. Not too bad 11 a.m. Some of those Australians, like we said last week, get up right at the crack of dawn in order to connect.
Oh, that's nice. Andrea, love this topic. Great to have our loved ones in spirit visits.
Indeed, it is. And I think it's an important
wonderful
time of year to think about those in the afterlife, because our thoughts do go to them,
a
don't
lot
they?
of people have lost loved ones.
Hello from Maine. Your smiles are beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, they're a bit fake though. Nirvana Bliss. Okay, now that is definitely not your real name. I've sussed you out. Nirvana Bliss. There is some spooky things going on in Christmas, while Christmas itself bring beautiful high energies. Yes, and these are the sort of things we're going to talk about tonight, about the energy of the time and what happens to the world at that time as well, because things do change. So as we said, our topic is Do the Dead Return at Christmas? And we also want your spirit stories and ghost stories and feelings that you've had. So where do we begin with this topic? Because I'll first tell you one thing, because I was doing a little bit of research on this beforehand, and I didn't realize it, but before Halloween, at the time when the spirits came close was always considered to be Christmas time. I didn't realize that. This goes back to the old pagan ideas of the Yule, like we still have the Yule time log and things like that. Yeah, but it's a whole pagan thing, the Yule tide. And people used to believe, because we're right at the end of the year at this time of year, of course, and we're close to the sort of change of the year. And this would be a time when you think about winter, you think about, and you'd also think about death and rebirth. There's a lot of symbolism even now in the Christmas stuff we have around, because it was never really meant to be a Christian festival. It was always a very ancient pagan festival. And we were going to do a thing about superstitions, weren't we? But all through the Christmas stuff we got around us, there's loads and loads of references to pagan ideas that were basically Christianized. You know, they just took it, that we can't have all these pagan guys dominating this most important festive time of the year. So we got to dominate it somehow. So we shift Christ's birthday back a few months. He was probably a Piscean, I'd have thought, because
the fish.
The fish. Yeah. So they shifted it back, banged it onto the old ceremonies for the pagan times, and then basically it's like building a church on an old pagan site. This is now a Christian festival. Of course, it was also a time and Saturnalia from the Roman times, and this was the time of year you do gambling. You know, this was a time of debauchery. This was a time of, you know, all sorts of bad stuff in the Roman times. You know, like when we went to Pompeii and that. You know, you can imagine what it was all like there. So this is the dark time of year. This was more important in terms of connecting with the next world originally than Halloween was, because Halloween was picked up by the Scots and the Irish. They exported it to America. America loved the idea of Halloween, leapt on it. We can have another festival which we can sell more things. And then they exported it back to us and we all went for it. But actually, it's Christmas time that is the time with the ghosts, as Charles Dickens did, didn't he?
Yeah, and Scrooge.
Scrooge and
the ghost that visited him.
And Christmas Carol time, you know. And I was also checking it out too, you know, and before Dickens came along and gave us this typical Victorian Christmas that we have nowadays, he published that, I got the note there, 1843. So he changed everything. Before that, Christmas was actually in decline. People used to go to work on Christmas Day. The normal...
Well, a lot of people still do.
Yeah.
Nurses and doctors, Craig.
But everybody just treated it as a normal day because, you know, the Puritans had come along in Britain. Oliver Cromwell had told us, you know, we're going to get rid of carols. And he started stripping Christmas away, told us nobody could have carols. And so Christmas was in serious decline. So in a lot of ways, we have Charles Dickens and his wonderful stories that he put into Christmas Carol with Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Past and things. And that started the whole tradition.
Craig, be careful. I can hear those chains rattling behind you.
Yeah. So, you know, so I suppose we got it in our culture now, haven't we?
Yeah.
I can also...
Well, I always sense near Christmas, strange things do happen in this house because the clock, the grandfather clock in the lounge, just 2 minutes past midnight, Christmas Eve, it starts ringing. And also I sense in my spiritual room, I can hear choir boys singing.
The grandfather clock back there?
Yeah.
At Christmas, you've heard that a number of times, have you? Yeah, because didn't we have that? Because it don't really work, does it? I mean,
it does work. No, it's not broken.
But every now and again it sets off.
You took the pendulum off.
I fixed it. I repaired it.
Didn't repair it.
And now I can actually not be disturbed by it.
It starts up on its own 2 minutes past on Christmas Eve. And then I can hear a light comes on. I can see a reflection underneath the door in my spiritual room. And I can hear choir boys singing. It's like voices of angels. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And I can sense William going past me. And what I always do on
William was our dog.
Yeah. What I always do on Christmas Day is put a glass on the Christmas table for memory of loved ones, for your father and for my stepfather.
Yeah. I always think it's Christmas. To me, the real power of Christmas is not so much Christmas Day when everybody's sort of into the festive fun. It's Christmas Eve, isn't it? Just after you've turned all the telly off. And it's that last minute where it goes quiet. And you can kind of feel all the vibes in the air of all the kids excited.
Excitement, yeah.
And our memories ourselves of, you know, what it was like when you're a kid trying to get to sleep and that buzz that's in the air. But then there's a certain silence, isn't there, just before Christmas at Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I think, is more special spiritually than any other time. It feels like the
whole planet wanting peace, doesn't it? I don't know about you as a child, but I used to like my stocking because in those days you used to have a tangerine, a sugar mouse, and some little things, crayons or pencils. I used to enjoy that mostly.
My dad always used to say, what I want for Christmas is a stocking, and I want it filled.
Gosh.
But I think he had other ideas. Yeah.
Well, we didn't have you didn't have all these sort of Christmas bags. You used to have pillowcases.
Yeah, and that was presents. A lot. Yeah. I mean, my nan used to get an apple. That was what she had for Christmas.
I
That's
expect
what
they
they
all
had.
did.
You know,
They
that
all
was
did.
tough times.
And goose, didn't they?
And it's only through the Victorian times that it all started, the idea of giving presents, which were given on Boxing Day, not on Christmas Day.
And there is something spooky about Christmas Eve, actually, because you can feel the vibrations of loved ones coming near to you. You can actually feel as if they're walking through what I call a walk-in, coming through and going at the door, as if they're watching us and trying to celebrate around the Christmas table.
Yeah. It was always thought, and again, going back to the pagan things, that it was the darkest day when the dead could come closest. You know, it's when it was dark, because we got very short nights now, particularly different in Australia, I suppose, but certainly in Europe, we get the idea of the short days. It seems to be dark before you've even gotten up sometimes, doesn't it? And that was the idea that time of year, the spirits come close. And don't we think, because we're coming to the end of a period of time, and we become much more reflective towards the end of the year, and particularly so as we get to New Year. And our thoughts must go into about the life we've had this year and what's happened this year. You know, watch out for our new video coming up about 2020. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But our thoughts would also naturally turn to those who can't be with us at that time
absolutely.
of year, wouldn't it?
Well, I think there's a lot of sadness. I mean, my sister-in-law lost her father on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
and that was
deaths
just
on
with
Christmas
flu.
Day.
That was with ordinary flu.
Yeah. And you went into hospital, and we nearly lost Danielle on Christmas Day, and you, because they said it was a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
There was it can be a very, very Christmas kind of exaggerates things, doesn't it? If you have a death at Christmas, it's doubly hard, because every Christmas after that,
it wouldn't be the same, would it?
It's going to always be a time both of mourning and happiness and what could have been, isn't it? You know, so I think the dead come close to us anyway, not just because of these superstitions.
There was a strange thing that happened, I think, in a church in the New Forest at Minstead, when there was a grave headstone, and there used to be like a blue light, like an aura going around it, and it's meant to be a grave of a little boy. And on Christmas Eve, it actually all lights up.
That's where Conan Doyle's buried. You mean that one?
Yeah.
Oh, his
not
grave.
on his grave, not on Conan Doyle's grave.
No, it's on another grave nearby.
But it's a little boy.
I think I remember there being told
there's a blue light, and you see a spirit. They've seen it in the village. A spirit of a child suddenly materialise and build up. It's only there for a short. It's like he's done a visitation.
Yeah, and I remember them telling us that, because that was the person that tended the graves, wasn't it? I think told us that. That was really an odd story.
And it's only this little
particularly
boy
around Conan Doyle's grave.
Well, it's only this little boy that's buried in the grave. His parents aren't there, but it is a little boy, and there's a legend he was an orphan boy, an orphan child.
Yeah. I bet you've got a lot of stories like this out there, haven't you?
Bring them on. You
can tell us when you've got somebody, because there's lots of unusual things, you know. I mean, there's still a bit. I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas was always Danielle's favourite movie, wasn't it? I mean, she was fanatic about that as a kid, and even wrote about a thesis on it when she got to college. But that kind of resonates a little bit, doesn't it? Even with the kids now, because that idea of that, you know, Christmas it's like, I think it's when you've got all that sort of comfort of Christmas, that security that you get a sense of at Christmas, it's as if you've got a moment there when you feel safer than any other time of year in many ways. And perhaps that's a time when we can contemplate death, you know, and dying, and what goes beyond.
This is really nice. You want to read that?
Shall I read it out?
Yeah.
From Daily Grossman. Jane, I had a similar experience, but not on Christmas. I was chanting with our yoga class around 1997 when our few voices turned into TGE Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Okay. It sounded like 1,000 voices rather than 15. Well, also, I felt like that we were blessed physically
Craig, not blessed.
We were blended physically into one being. I don't know if it was astrally projecting or was in samadhi.
Well, that sounds like a psychic phenomenon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The voices raising a vibration
of energy,
and actually all being as one. So your consciousness is all blending as one energy.
Yeah,
That's remarkable.
and also with the yoga things, if group of people do om chanting, we used to call it sea of oms, where everybody says oms randomly. It seems to be, the energy seems to increase fantastically. And also, if you form a circle of people doing oms and have another group of people doing oms from the inside out, there's another little technique you can use. It creates an incredible energy, particularly for the people in the middle of the mandala. But so that yogic chanting, doing it on Christmas Eve. Fantastic. Yogananda used to say that Christmas Eve was the time to do your religious stuff, because Christmas Day is no good. So, if you were a Christian, that was the time really when the energy was right to send your thoughts out to the
I wonder if
divine.
Indian people do pujas on Christmas Eve.
I don't know. I don't know what goes on around that time of year. I mean, certainly they don't celebrate Christmas in the normal sense, although they got
the Festival of Light. They celebrate.
Diwali is a little bit earlier, isn't it? And they also have St. Thomas over there.
But they would do
the original
prayers.
Christian
They
church.
would do prayers for world peace.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to know. I mean, around the world there might be all sorts of superstitions, or rituals and beliefs about Christmas that we don't know of.
Nana says, our big black ghost cat appears around the time to jingle our Christmas tree silver bells. Oh, that's sweet. Well, I'm afraid Craig does the same in this house.
Yeah. I get under that Christmas tree, of course.
Ring their bells.
Yeah. Boo always has the Christmas tree down, doesn't he? I mean, he always leaps on it.
What about Gizzy? He used to.
Gizzy, our other cat. He looked like he looked like the real Gizzy, didn't he? Gizmo from the movie. And he that was another Christmas horror story, wasn't it? But he was a Christmas horror story. He had ears like bats, absolutely enormous. And he had a character like nobody ever. See, so at Christmas time, you often think of your pets just as much as you think of everyone else, don't you? Because they all kind of play a role at Christmas. I mean, Jane's mum buys the most ridiculous things for her dog at Christmas, doesn't she? You don't see that spider dog type of thing on YouTube. You ever watched that? He buys that sort of thing.
Well, he's got his own wardrobe of clothes.
Yeah, we'll have to get Joan on screen.
He's got his own bank account too, Teddy.
Has he?
Yes, for the vets.
We'll have to get the PIN number off him just in case.
He's worth a board too.
She's going to leave it all to the dog, isn't she? So, Lita, I've had 2 loved ones pass at Christmas. No, 2. You see, that's always sad. Bad news, isn't it? It's so true what you were saying. I do not like to mark days of death, but Christmas makes that difficult.
It is difficult.
How can you not?
Yeah, to have 2.
Yeah,
that's really shattering, isn't it?
But I think David also, David lost his brother, didn't he? Christmas Day too. So we've had 2 in a way, but we're not related. No, we weren't related. But I mean, we've had 2 deaths. But
if you lose a mother or father or a sister and brother that passes Christmas, that Christmas is never the same again, is it?
No, and the same at weddings, isn't it? I mean, often at weddings you get somebody die. A number of times people die just as that. Don't tell the bride.
Even women that give birth with babies on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
I mean, that's horrendous.
I suppose it's because it's such an important time for us, isn't it?
Well, it is.
And I think you can get through those times, though. I think if you believe in an afterlife, if you know in an afterlife, if you involved in spiritualism to the point that there's an afterlife, then it's not quite so hard.
Tanya,
to know they are there.
My mum died in her sleep in Christmas morning. And I always feel her around that time for 13 years. Well, that's nice. It's obviously that she's letting you know she's around you. But I think that's, in a way, I know it doesn't help, but it's beautiful if somebody does die in their sleep, that they haven't suffered. It's the suffering. How people worry how they're going to die and that they get very frightened. But that's quite beautiful that she descended upon the spirit world in her sleep. And I'm sure she's around you just to let you know. I mean, 13 years.
Another thing a lot of people do, including ourselves sometimes, is to have a candle with the photographs of the people that passed over. Not necessarily just on this day, but, on around that throughout life. And have a candle and a sort of remembrance. And I think it's good to have a few moments to reflect, and do a little meditation, have a few moments before everything. And then put it aside and know that they would want you to have a good Christmas, wouldn't they? Because all of them, I'm sure, would have loved Christmas. So I think if you've had a loss, hard as it is,
well, you
have to kind of
still
put
got them in
aside.
your heart, haven't you? I mean, I always light candles when I go into a church. If we go to Italy or wherever we go, Vienna or where, I always light a candle and say a prayer for people that aren't well.
Yeah, and Christmas is a time of more ritual than anything else we know, or mainly pagan ritual, but also Christian ritual as well. It's all kind of blended in on that day. Lots of ritualistic sort of things, if you think about it.
Holly,
and I think a little ritual,
mistletoe.
yeah, but I think a little ritual to the dead's not a bad idea.
See?
Holly, that was a pagan idea, and I think
a mistletoe,
because it was evergreen.
Mistletoe.
Mistletoe
It's a fertility
that
thing.
goes back to the Druids and things like that. It was
fertility.
considered, the golden bough and things.
And because it was Prince Albert that
it was a fertility symbol.
that
so
bought the Christmas tree from Germany.
Yeah, the tree again. You bring a tree into the house for eternal life. So it's a lot of ideas about rebirth. None of these are Christian. There's a lot of interesting stories, particularly the one about how the fairy got on top of the Christmas tree. That I don't think you'd like me to tell, would you?
What's that?
How the fairy got on top of the Christmas.
I don't want to know, Craig. You've been silly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Read this one.
Jan is saying, could you as mediums take your followers on a meditation journey near to Christmas to help us draw near to our loved ones and them
really
to
nice.
us?
Could do.
We have got some meditations coming out already scheduled, because you schedule a lot of the YouTubes. But actually, that's a nice thought. Actually, maybe one we could do together.
Well, yeah, and connect and bring the loved ones closer to you.
And it would be quite nice, possibly, to do it live, or we could do it re-record, and I can put some nice images on it. Yeah, that's a nice idea. That's a very nice idea, particularly for Christmas. And as I was saying, I've just put another video together of the best bits, as it were, but the best bits of
silly bits.
The silly bits.
Yeah, agility bits.
The agility bits. The bits that Jane and I sort of, when, because those that have been patrons see sort of behind the scenes stuff. So the rest of you that come on, you mere public people that come on.
God, mere mortals, you really said.
The patrons see all these other little bits behind the scenes. So I put a whole collection of those bits together, because they're not normally published. And I've got about an hour and 15 minutes, hour 20 minutes video we put together, just of the funny bits. And that'll be coming up. Probably publish that Christmas Eve or around Christmas time.
I think we'll do a nice meditation.
So look out for that one.
For loved ones that are in the spirit world, so it brings them closer
And that might be
together.
nice to do that before Christmas, and then people can listen to it at Christmas if they feel that that's appropriate for them, because it's a nice thought, isn't it, that you can spend a little bit of connection time, knowing that it's a real connection with the people in the spirit. They really do connect. It's no good. It's not about belief or about could this be, or it's about wishful thinking or affirmations. It's about the real thing, because that's what we as mediums
and blend your thoughts
do.
with loved ones.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And if you've got any other ideas, always stick them in the comments, or drop, particularly on the Patreon pages. I pick up your comments. And I do try to integrate those things. And it's great to have ideas. Like, for example, the patrons have said, can we do the next workshop on spirit guides? So on Monday, we've got a spirit guides workshop on the Patreon pages. And that will all be done on Zoom. So you can come in and you get close interaction, because we only have, a dozen or so people at the most. So it's a nice, like a little online circle. And that's just on if you're, the $9 and $20 whatever it is, patrons can come.
I think it would also be quite nice to do a meditation. People that have lost children around Christmas, they can link up with their children.
Well, it lost anybody really, and I could work a visualization out for us on that.
And I'm quite good at visualization.
Relaxation as well. So yeah, you need a direction when you're doing it.
I certainly do with you, Craig.
You're so beautiful and handsome. So I'm beautiful and you're handsome.
Oh, that's nice.
Or vice versa.
Let me see. Who's saying this? Spike Milligan from the Afterlife.
Thank you for that. Do departed spirits celebrate Christmas in the afterlife?
Well, they would, wouldn't they? But it wouldn't be Christmas like we know here with the turkey and food. It'd be all coming together, wouldn't it?
I would have thought they would, even in the you see, this is the crazy thing about the spirit world is, I found it hard to accept the idea that when you die, that some of the routines you had on earth could continue. Doris Stokes said to me, I said, what's Wayne doing in the spirit world? He's playing cricket. And that for me, I thought I'd had all this evidence of proof of life after
symbolism,
death. And for me, that popped the balloon. I thought, what? You know, that's nonsense. But actually, when you think about it, what we experience in the next world is very similar to this world. And I think
From a
different
different
people,
consciousness.
yeah, because people have different levels that they can understand.
I
You
can
know, for
remember
some,
you,
it'd be
I
like
can
that.
remember your auntie Marion said, "Tell me, Jane, have they got a food larder in the spirit world?" Because if they have, goody goody.
yeah, that's Sally who comes on here. Her daughter's on here. Yeah, she had some great ideas, and when she passed over, she had no fear of death. Really, you could tell from the letters she wrote to everybody
Yeah,
and things. You know,
amazing lady.
absolutely incredible. Creative Living is saying, when will your circle begin? What patron level do you need to sign up to? How will it work? Oh, well, you can. There's a sort of, at the moment, a sort of an online teaching thing going on there at the moment. So, the basic bottom $3 one, you just kind of get access to the bits and pieces afterwards. But any of the at the moment, the $9 and the other dollar, so it's the Elysium and the Olympus, will all get it. Later on, it'll just be for as more join. I'll gradually have to say, right, okay, that'll just be the top tier. But the top tier and the second tier at the moment are able to join and ask me questions basically, and we teach you a few techniques that you can use in clairvoyance as well. It's not a development circle, but it's more like a spiritual type of pointers. Yeah. And eventually we're going to have an online thing. But we'll tell you all about that once this lockdown's out the way and we can actually do what we want to do. Blank screen. Oh no. You must always be tired because of the corona. I'm always rooting for you.
Oh, that's nice. No, we're not tired, are we?
I am. Yeah,
I'm energized. He's tired.
I'm always energized if you point a camera at me, but frankly, I have been tired. Actually, I think this whole energy of this corona period does make us all tired. You know, I mean, the time of year does too, doesn't it? And I think there's a sort of a heaviness to the energy because everybody by now, you know, we all want to get out and you know, let off steam at Christmas because everybody does. It's a time of gathering together, and we have a time of isolation.
Well, it's because your freedom's been taken.
So it's a different energy this year than ever before.
Different Christmas.
So but I still think Christmas Day will be that same energy, and like as we, you know, keeping to the theme, you know, I think the spirit world will still get through just as much as ever before, perhaps even more so because of the troubles in the world. So don't forget, give us some of your ideas, any questions you might have, anything that you've had personal experiences during.
Amy says, is there a way to try to get more in touch with the spirit world?
Well,
you really have to go to what I call a really good medium and give you evidential proof, because you can't do it with Ouija boards or anything like that, can you? You've got
No. There's a lot of misconceptions about, you know, that you think you can get in touch with the spirit world through a Ouija board.
And there's too many saying they're connecting with loved ones through tarot readings. I can't see that's possible.
Yeah. I mean, Jane's saying there that, you know, see a medium. You know, you can do it personally too. I'll talk about that too. But, you know, a medium are very, very rare. We were talking about this today, weren't we? I mean, in the past, I would have said there was 20 mediums in the UK that were decent enough to be able to give proper evidence, right? And now I reckon that you'd need a huge, great database if you put down everybody that says they're a medium. It must go into tens of thousands of people who claim to be. But those 20, you know, are rare. It's a very rare thing to find a medium. And if you want to find a medium, your best bet actually is to start looking into spiritualism if you're in the UK, and they do have spiritualism in Australia and also in Canada and in America. They're all slightly different forms of it, but you can soon find that on the web, and that has got its faults as well. It's still a bit
it's a mental
churchy,
mental medium.
But you will meet mediums there, and you can even join circles connected to the churches if you can find a church development circle from the spiritualism. And that's a good way for you to start to get in touch with the spirit world in a fantastic way. It's like everybody that goes into that audience is connecting. You know, their energies connect to the spirit world. And of course, you can do it yourself up to a point. And I think by opening your thoughts and opening yourself in meditation, sometimes the spirit world can draw close. But it's best of all in a circle sitting.
Oh, this is really sweet. Nana, She's really good with things, Nana. I expect that whoever dies around this time, spirit people must be so excited over this as they get to see their loved ones again. I'm sure that they celebrate Christmas too. I'm sure they do. I mean, Rose, the lady that's been coming to me, I suppose, about 30 years, she can't wait to join her husband. And she said, Jane, no disrespect to you, but I don't want to come back so quickly because I want to make the best of my husband over there because I haven't seen him, and that's the end. And I don't want no karma, no reincarnation, and that. And she said, but I'm worried if I die because I'm going to take her service. What will happen if you're on holiday? I said, I tell you what, Rose, we'll put you on ice and we'll save you on ice till I get back.
Blimey. But she's fearless. That's good. Yeah. So I suppose that it is nice, isn't it, that people can. And I'm sure, you know, you're right, because I mean, I think the trance guide, Silver Birch, said about that they celebrate, they cry tears of joy in the spirit world at a death, and cry tears of sadness when a child is born, because obviously they're losing a soul from the spirit to come here, just as they're gaining a soul when someone dies. But the nice fact is we all do meet again. So this is a doggy one. Agility Bits actually joins the circle, don't you, Pat? A few days before our dog died, a double rainbow appeared. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? On Christmas morning, I felt the dog's presence very strongly, and when I looked out of the window, another double rainbow appeared.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Signs. I believe in signs.
Yeah. Last year, Christmas was just bright sunshine, wasn't it? I remember. You know, it was a brilliant sunny day.
I like it when it snows. Christmas. Yeah. It seems special, doesn't it?
I think of rainbows. I mean, you see signs and symbols around, auguries, as they used to call it, didn't they? And the Greeks used to look for these things. You know, that sometimes the world sort of gives you a sort of a sign. I don't think the spirit world themselves put that sign there, but maybe it's just something about the way reality is made.
You think of a dog over the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, well, the Rainbow Bridge was always the idea of the path to the afterlife, wasn't it?
So it's quite beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, the Viking idea of the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, and a narrow path that was always considered, you know, narrow way. So Heather Margaret's saying, what's the difference between a spirit guide and a guardian angel? I think terminology, that's all.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, a spirit guide's a person that's actually been here on the earth plane, that's lived before. I mean, it could be like Dr. Christian Bernard, a heart transplant surgeon. He could be guiding a heart surgeon here on the earth plane. And an angel guardian is that when we feel that there's somebody looking out for us, and that could be interpreted as a loved one that passed as well.
Guardian angels are usually considered those that have never been born on the earth plane. Yeah, they've only been in the spirit world, I suppose. That
but there's seraphims over there as well.
But I don't like all that too much. I mean, there's the Christian stories of it. I mean, the old original angels went back to Sumeria, of course. You know, that was the first, and before that as well, I think. But the Sumerian had the winged figures. That were, and that was picked up again later.
There's angels, Craig.
Yeah,
there's angels.
The wings and the rest are symbolic of transcendence. They don't have wings, but there are obviously must be higher beings that perhaps have never had to have earthly
You'll also
life.
be a food angel.
Yes, gastronomic angel, I think would be rather nice, particularly at Christmas time.
Angels,
well,
it all the angels
they're just
in the
words,
Bible.
aren't they? You could call them spirits or higher spirits. You could call them gods and goddesses as well, couldn't you? If you were doing it from a different religious point of view.
Well, we mustn't be ignorant, Craig, and think that we're the only life form here, because there's many life forms.
And in the spirit
and it'd be
world.
proving in years to come.
Apple Summersby is saying, today I very nearly got killed by a lorry on a crossing.
Gosh.
My God. The driver apologised, but I'm grateful to be alive and take this very near miss as a sign for something. What do you think?
Well, I definitely feel you had an angel looking out for you, because if it was your time to go, you would have gone. And that's I take that as a warning.
I would take it as an opportunity, as a turning point, actually, for you, Apple, because if you think about it, you know, I mean, sometimes they say that tragic things happen at a time that would have corresponded to a previous life, that a similar thing would have happened in a previous life. So in a previous life, you might have died at that point, but this life, the same circle of planets has come round, and this time you were let off. So if you if you really think about it, it's what an incredible idea of the thought if you take it into your life as the idea of a second chance, because perhaps it just makes you value the importance of your life and value it.
Life is precious.
Yeah.
And that is a warning in a way, because you're going to be conscious all the time at crossings.
Yeah, well, it's a warning also to watch out as well and be careful. But because everybody nowadays, everybody's walking across the road holding their mobile phones, aren't they? And cyclists with ear things in and can't hear any of the traffic, and drivers driving with mobile. Yes. We're all in another world. So perhaps it's saying to you, how important this world is and how precious life is.
Well, life is precious.
And what you're going to do with your life. You're going to donate it to the same sort of stuff you've been doing before, or could you maybe spiritualize it a little bit more and take it onto another level? Nana again, does Christmas time have its own spiritual energy or a collective one, or does spirit just apply to the living? Well, I think any collective thought creates an energy. Places you get collective thought, it creates an energy. A temple or a church or a mosque or whatever, it generates an energy when people's minds come together, particularly on a spiritual level. And like we were talking about before, like Christmas Eve has a special energy to it, and Christmas Day has another special energy to it. It's become, unfortunately, hijacked by rampant materialism and kind of spoilt it a lot. I think if we had a little bit more simplicity at Christmas, it would be a good thing. But then we all enjoy the presents. We all enjoy the feast. There always has been a feast day. They reckon that people used to feast even back to the earliest times.
People have lost the real meaning what Christmas is, though, haven't they? Really?
Well, yes, they have. Christmas is the Yule. It's the pagan time when you look to nature.
No, what Christmas should be that every child on the earth should be fed, and we want world peace.
Whatever religion for that period of time, it's always been the idea of the time of death and rebirth, the beginning again, the starting again. And I think often there's the Romans didn't have it. The Romans went down the gluttony route, which is the route we're going today. The pagans were much more civilized about it, and the Christians also. So I just think it should be a time of goodwill, and that's the energy we should be generating. And maybe a time of taking thought about your life and where you're going too, because we have that kind of feast, we have that family thing that's so important to everybody,
connecting,
and the connecting with the world. And then hopefully we take refreshed by all that, we go into the new year with an optimism which usually bursts into life on New Year's Eve. How much the course of connecting with your guys cost? You just go. It's not much. It's I think it's $9, the cheapest one. $9 weekly one. So it's not expensive. These are really like donations. You can either do the $9 or you can do the more expensive one. I mean, people that become patrons are there really just to not to buy anything. They're just supporting us. But we just like to give something back. So we give back. That's one of the things we're doing at the moment. So yeah, come along. It's good fun. You do need to be able to connect though, because I ask people to connect by video so we can talk to each other.
Right. Is there anybody there?
The one for this week's gone out, but it'll go out again on Monday. The connection link goes by private message to the patrons. So make another message appear if we've got any more. Anybody there? iPad. Or rather Domenico, who's doing all this in the background for us from home. Deb's saying, what I always thought was so odd was I have lost more animals right around Christmas. I never figured out the reason for that.
That's strange, isn't it? Well, I suppose it's like anything. If it's an animal or human being, so time to go. Is there time to go? Animals do know, don't they?
Yeah, it's probably just a coincidence that that's happened, because
sad,
things always
though.
go in threes and things,
sad.
don't they? Often with deaths and things. So perhaps it gets the same for animals. You just had them all at Christmas time.
Yeah, everything in threes. It's all like maths and magic numbers.
Yeah, because people miss their animals just as much at Christmas.
Of course
I mean,
do.
we often think of Gizzy, like we were talking about Gizzy and Angel and Yang, and the rabbits. Even then,
7 rabbits.
The rabbits used to come in on Christmas, didn't they? Thumper used to sit in front of the fire like a cat or a dog.
And if we laid on the settee, they used to lay on our back, didn't they?
Yeah, amazing. They this year we got birds.
Crows.
we've got 2 birds that are in our garden.
Pigeon,
I'm pointing because we're in the conservatory at the moment.
Doves.
Yeah, 2 doves, and they
two
come
lots
back
of
every
babies.
day. They were snuggling, weren't they?
Snuggles.
Outside.
And I've got 2 ravens that come in and feed.
Yeah, and
2 crows.
in fact, I'll put some of that on that new video that's coming up that you can see at Christmas, our best of. Graham Brooks is saying, there's a special planetary alignment on the 21st of December. Do you see this as a sign of new beginnings? And do you think it brings a special energy for that day? Yeah, there is. And there's also an interesting eclipse, actually, because if you look in the description below on this video, you'll see Domenico's website, right? YouTube page. And he's done a fantastically spooky video about the eclipse that's coming up and some prophecies about it, and the Titanic and all sorts of strange stuff that was connected with this eclipse idea. So go and have a look at that. It's a real spooky piece of filmmaking, which he's just done, which I was absolutely amazed at. So go and have a look at that. You'll find it in the description below. You should do, or look up the Italian Dad. That's what he uses as his username, and go and have a look. Oh no, it was Strange Curiosities, he's called it.
Yeah, Strange Curiosities.
But if you'll find it down below, and there is some interesting, and there are some interesting planetary alignments. Now I don't do astrology much.
Millie,
Astrology
what about Millie does it?
Yeah, we've got Millie does some astrology and things, but we've got I know this. It does kind of, the planets create a certain energy. The planets, I always think, create a certain release of karma, because I think the planetary positions are more about karma than anything else. But I can't really tell you anymore because I've not looked it all up, so I don't have enough knowledge about that.
Well, I'm sure there's been all different moons, hasn't there, this year, and it's bringing all change, which the world needs.
Well, I think the stars and the planets and the positions all correspond to events that happen in the world. And sometimes if you can, that's what Nostradamus used to do. He would look at a planetary alignment and something in the past and compare it to those at this present time and in the future to find when similar things will happen. If there's this alignment and that conjunction and all the rest of it, he'd find the same ones and then see, that could be the same type of thing's going to happen again. New Year's resolution, why do we do it?
Well, I think it's a bit of fun, don't you?
Well, I don't anymore, because my last New Year's resolution was to give up making New Year resolutions. In fact, one was that, actually.
I think most people start off like, you want to lose weight, you're going to give up smoking and all different things, and it lasts for like a few days and it's all forgotten. So it's a bit of fun,
so
really.
I actually did give up the idea of doing any form of resolution, because I think, personally, I like to think that one's trying to live a good life every day of the year and not just making these promises to yourself that get broken. But obviously some people need it. I don't know where it originated as an idea.
No, I don't.
But then I suppose, you see, the new year, like Christmas we've been talking about here, it's the end of the year. It's a new start. So when we do something, a new start in life, it's like a new start, and it's a resolution. It's a new start to do something new, this rebirth. We got the death period through the winter, and then the rebirth at the turn of the
spring.
Winter equinox, really. But I mean, that's of the new year. And we like to think we can be do things in a better way than we did before. So I would say that where it comes. I don't know if anybody out there's got any New Year resolutions you want to share with us that you've been thinking about. I think I can think of quite a few that the world could do at the moment.
I wonder if anybody's actually heard a
ghost.
No
more conspiracy theories. That's a good one.
Yeah, I wonder if somebody's actually heard a ghost whispering to them.
What, out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you've had any spirit connections, do
with
let us
ghosts,
know.
and you can hear them whispering. What's that one, Craig?
Craig and Jane, can you tell me about telekinesis? Is it real, and why?
Oh, yes, it is real telekinesis.
So telekinesis is like PK. It's like when things move.
A Russian lady used to do that, didn't she?
It moves across the... Yeah, we've seen it. We mentioned it before on an earlier video when we were talking to you about when we went on that boat and we saw things move. That was a still boat. It wasn't a rocking boat. It was in fact, things were flying there.
Your wallet doesn't suffer with telekinesis, does it?
no, it slammed shut with a mysterious noise. Yes, it's
no, but
I am a very generous person.
Yes,
as you know.
in your thoughts. Yuri Geller was meant to have done telekinesis, but there's a famous Russian woman that used to do that, and the glass used to slide, didn't
Yeah,
it?
P
And she-
something, wasn't it? Yeah, what's her name?
Bernatsky begins with B.
P, I think. Well, anyway, whatever. There was a few. She used to be able to move things in a glass dome, didn't she?
Well, that's
they had
what
a
I'm saying. It
they had a
used to
vacuum
move.
dome, and she used to put her hands around it.
Just wanted
and
to
things
turn
would
the end of
move.
that.
It's off camera. We could try it out, Jane. Yeah, I've never been able to make anything move. I must admit, I've tried.
You can't even move in the morning.
If I move my body's hard enough. But I think that psychokinesis comes from a certain type of personality.
Energy.
I think you have to be a really uptight person to project that energy. Actually, you have to have a very, very, very high energy level and be really uptight.
Focused.
And that's why, and then focused. Yeah, like you say. And that's why I think Yuri Geller, he's not a peaceful sort of guy. He's a very, very intense person.
Yeah.
Believe. You know, he's very, very intense.
He is.
And I think that's part of why he gets, what he
Wound
calls
up.
psychokinesis. And that's often why it comes around people in puberty, because there's often a lot of tension and a lot of energy that's going on in their bodies.
Well, people can make lights go on and off as well with psychokinesis.
Very spiritual says, what are your zodiac signs? You are a match made in heaven. Any guesses? Well, I'm Aquarian, of course, which is the best sign in the zodiac and the modest of them all. A water sign, Aquarian. Oh, an air sign, of course it is. It's carrying the water. You're getting me muddled up now.
You don't have to get you muddled.
But you're an air sign too. Jane's Libran, so it's a Libran Aquarian mix, which is supposed to be compatible. When it comes to China, well, we are. It's a good one. But when it comes to the Chinese, Jane's a tiger and I'm a snake, which is actually one of the worst combinations you can get. So, but we tend to sort of look at the Western one, don't we?
33 years,
I'm
I think it
worked.
worked.
Jane's a metal tiger.
Metal tiger can bite your head off.
Yeah. So,
snake, lazy under
but
the
I've
stone.
I've got my moon right on the cusp of Libran. It's not
I've got
straight.
my moon in Aquarius.
And you've got your moon just coming into Aquarius, I seem to remember.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes a bit of a difference in the charts as well. So that's nice. So last questions now, folks. All right. And again, like it's saying on the screen there for you, if you can like this and share it, particularly if you're on Facebook too, that helps because other people will see it. But do it on the YouTube if you're watching it too. And don't forget to follow us. If you're new here, do follow us and you'll be able to sort of get notifications. If you click the bell thing, that is, you'll get notifications every time we go online. That's when you subscribe to the channel. And you can also find all other stuff. If you look in the description below, like I say, you can find Domenico's pages. You can find Jane's Facebook page. You can find our an Instagram page, and all those type of things are on there because, we do this on YouTube mainly, but we also have all sorts of other things. And there's the patrons, of course. If you want to bring it all together in one place, go and look at the patron, think about joining as a patron. But that more than anything helps support us move this whole thing forward. It gives us the equipment, the time, and it also, most importantly at the moment, has helped us new to get a place, which we're going to have our new stuff, which we're not going to tell too much about, which is our first step towards a spiritual center. So we can have some of you guys actually be with us, and we can do mediumship with you. We can do demonstrations of mediumship in a proper setting, and things like that, and connect you who are watching into this as well. So it's going to be pretty amazing, hopefully, once we get it together. But coronavirus is messing us up. But if you become patrons, we're putting it all away so that we can now get the first step to having a regular studio set first off, where we can project all this. And of course, we're doing a lot of spiritual work too with it. You saw we bought some cows for people. We've been feeding kids and things. That's not the main thrust of our work, but that's all part of it too, to put something back in lots of different ways. All good karma for all of us. Last questions. Callum McDonald. What is the difference between a mental health condition such as schizophrenia and mediumship?
Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Well, schizophrenia, that's all the in the brain, what happens, the personalities and difference, because I used to be a psychiatric nurse. So you've got paranoid schizophrenic, and there are multiple personalities and things they're hearing. It's all chemicals in the brain. With a medium, A medium has a mental ability to pick up things from the afterlife, but they do close themselves down afterwards and have non-attachment to it. But someone's schizophrenic, they're very scary for them, seeing demonic things and killing things, and the voices they're hearing are very frightening. But the difference between a medium, they do switch off, and it's not like hallucinations and things like that, or paranoid.
Yeah, and also I think that Jane's right. Schizophrenia is a medical condition. It's an imbalance in the brain of some sort.
Yeah.
There's lots of reasons that we can argue that's wrong to create schizophrenia. And the difference is a schizophrenic will usually hear
Voices.
paranoid type of voices, threatening voices that come on the television.
Frightening for them.
I mean, I've known a number of people, and I've helped a lot of people that have suffered from quite serious schizophrenia in their time. They do get a little bit of psychic power. They do. There's no doubt about it. They can pick up your thoughts.
Yeah, they can.
But it's an out of control type of condition, and in particular, the schizophrenic, it's a horrible condition because it's a constant fear of threat to the self, threat that people are saying things behind your back, threat that the self itself is going to break up.
And you can have the most intelligent schizophrenic person.
Most schizophrenics are highly intelligent.
And I've known some of them do the most incredible paintings, drawing auras and everything, and they can pick up your thoughts.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's a sad medical condition that can, a third of cases can be completely cured, a third of cases can be modified, and a third of cases might be beyond control. But there's a lot of medical conditions out there that help you if you have that problem.
Often wondered if they weren't old souls that came back.
Yeah. I mean, I've known quite a few, but the mediumship is different because, it's like, if you look at your own, I think we're just more observant of the thinking process that goes on inside our minds. I mean, maybe if you listened and watched your inner thinking process, where do thoughts come from? Listen to the thoughts that go in your head, and be very, very conscious of the thoughts going through your mind. And sometimes you can pick up thoughts that are kind of a bit extraordinary, that aren't kind of yours, but they're for someone else. And then a medium will say to someone, "Oh, would you understand?" So I get a name in my head that says Joe Bloggs. Okay, would you understand Joe Bloggs? And you can prove that that's not your thought, that's the third person that was in the spirit. Yes, my Uncle Joe was called Joe Bloggs. Okay, so we can prove it, where a schizophrenic can't. Although sometimes they do get a little bit of telepathic power, which can also be frightening to them, because if they get that, they think, well, all the other stuff must be real too, all the paranoid stuff, So they're in a very difficult position. So it's not entirely fantasy, but there's a huge quantity of fantasy thrown in, and delusion and threat and fear, and a medium doesn't get any of that,
I think that's answered it pretty
well,
actually. Because, I mean, there's been known schizophrenic children might have multiple personality disorders.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your signs, says TJ. Yeah.
It is sad. And that, and because they have
Thank you, Craig and Jane, for all you do. I hope so many. You do give hope to so many. Have a wonderful weekend. Looking forward to more live sessions. Yeah, we're going to keep them going. Probably not on Christmas Day, but,
we might.
Maybe we get bored. We can stick it on the table. We just go live. Namaste, and thank you for answering my 3 questions, and thank you for some very interesting questions too, Nana. So never be afraid to ask more than once, any of you that come online, because it's always good to get some good interest. Jane is a true Libran, very lovely and beautiful.
Aren't you lucky?
Aquarians aren't lovely and beautiful. They're
fun.
They're mavericks.
I like Aquarians' humour.
They're non-conformists.
I like their
Will
humour.
Craig be doing predictions for December? Yes, I'm probably going to do that on the 30th of December. That's my plan at the moment. I might bring it forward, but probably the 30th of December for that one. Hit the like button now. Yes, a good idea. There, hit the like button now and share it too now, because we're coming to the end, and all of your friends will join us. You might even get some messages up there from your friends. Stop by from Florida. Yes. Yeah,
nice Jedi.
Nice to go over to Florida sometime again.
I've done that.
Yeah. Me when I arrived, it poured with rain. Nirvana bliss. Love, 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 love. Bye from Germany. Bye, Patricia. Nice to see you all again. And thanks for joining us. Don't forget, we're on every Friday at 7 p.m. UK time. So just work it out and you can find us. Thank you, Craig and Jane. Enjoyed the stream. God bless from Marty. Thank you, Marty. Thank you all
Marty.
for coming online. Agility Bits. Thank you, Craig and Jane. Have a lovely weekend.
And you.
I'll see you on Monday, Agility Bits, because I know you'll come into my workshop about spirit guides. So I know you come most of the times. Blessings, guys. Last week I posted in the community a lovely story about a spirit I helped once. I hope you all get to read it. Such a sweet story about how we have loved even after passing. I suppose that's on the Facebook page you're talking about there, Deb, unless it's on the Patreon page. But yeah, it's nice to see your stories and share your thoughts. It's often really good to put these things on the pages, because we don't have the forums we used to have on internet anymore since Google buggered it all up. Thank you both. Have a good weekend.
Yes, and all of you
too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Craig. You are both so comforting.
Oh, thank you.
Well, it's the truth that's comforting. It's not us. It's the truth, isn't it? That's all we're trying to talk about, to prove it to you. And thank you for another really interesting evening's chat. Love it and look forward to the Christmas meditation. Well, it looks like we're roped into that one now, Jane. There's no getting away from it. So we can do some of that. Thanks for another interesting chat. Thank you, Jane and Craig. Fabulous discussion as always. Yeah. And if you've got any ideas that you'd like us to do for discussions and talks, do put them in the comments, because sometimes we scratch our heads thinking, what can we do this week? What's different? What's new? What's topical? Topical stuff's good. Thank you, Jane and Craig. Fabulous. LOL. Thank you, Jane. Fabulous discussion as always. LOL. Thanks for your videos. Yes, thanks, Peter. Glad you're enjoying them. Please do more lives. Well, we're doing once a week. I think it'll be difficult to do more at the moment because we're doing a pretty full schedule. We're very, very busy with what we do. Even on lockdown, we're busy. Thanks, Sally, for coming on. Have a nice weekend. Yes,
and you, Sally. Enjoy your grandchildren.
Hope to see you sometime in the future when it's all the lockdowns out the way. Hi, Jason. Thank you both again for another lovely show. Heaven be with you both.
Oh, that's
nice. That's good of you, Jason. Yep. So it looks like we're coming to the end of another session.
It's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Okay, well, that punchline's been stolen. All right, see you soon, folks. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.